Hi, my name's Irrelevant, and today on the show, more lighting. Yay, just what you wanted, right? Right. So, not technically more lighting, or just different lighting. Actually, if you have been following the comedy, at one point I got this green watt light fixture from Canadian Tire, and I was, I was working on it here on the desk, and I went ahead afterwards and I mounted it over top. I just kind of hung it from these little hooky things that I have down there, these straps that are there, and yeah, it did my fill backlight. Now, the question is, do I want fill backlight? I don't know. Maybe. It's usually a good idea. I liked how it looked for the most part. You might notice right now it's a bit dark behind me. It's because that light, I bought it for the intention of using in the shed project, and that's complete now, so that light's gone. I feel the need to replace it, and this is what I came up with. Also from the Canadians of the tires is a Noma LED shop light. Rated for 3,000 lumens, 28 watts, 5,000 K. Right where I want it to be. Does it have a CRI rating? Because that's always handy. 5-year warranty. Does it say, is that what it says? A 5-year limited warranty. Limited warranty always means that, chances are, under most conditions in which you'll need to use a warranty, it's not going to be covered. Suitable for use in damp conditions, best performance in use conditions above 20 degrees Celsius. That's fine. That's fine. No CRI information. At any rate, if you're unfamiliar with this light, I am very familiar with this light because as you can see, I've used these hanging over my workbench for a while now, and they're really good. I've enjoyed them working underneath them. Now, in this particular guy, the price they ask for it for a Chinese-made ETL-rated light fixture is a bit much. It's a bit much. Canadian Tire usually sells these for like $50 to $60 or something like that. But, obviously the hot ticket is you buy them when they're on sale for like, $25, $30. This particular guy right here was actually open box. It was the last one on the shelf. Someone had ravaged the box and the hardware was missing. I have no hardware by which to hang this. So I was able to get additional money off it. I paid just what I wanted for it. This ideally was not the light fixture I would want to use for the back because I wanted something a little bit less directional, a little bit better diffused. But hey, for the price and my familiarity with it, I think it's going to be just the ticket. But that's one of the reasons why I need to modify on this, which I believe would make something resembling reasonable content. So I got no hookies to go into these little holes, bud. Part of me, what I'm thinking is, doing the good old-fashioned double side tape it to the friggin' drop ceiling rails that are up there. That's a method that I could use, and this thing's certainly light enough, but then we have the value added deficit that we have this coming out directly the back. I want this light as high as possible so it could spread and diffuse. I don't want it to be too focused, so I don't ideally want to hang it. I want it to be right up there. Do I even? On the potato cam over there, you see the hooks that did come with this light have, kind of double the hookage here. So I could theoretically just use the other end of the same hook, like that here, and on this end, like that here. So, two lights alike in power. Two families alike in power, doubling up. Oh boy. It's bright as frig here now. I almost want to go look at my false colors here. Yeah, a little bit washout on the face there. I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of night, which is an interesting slip of the tongue because it's the opposite of night. All this light ahead. Man, it's kind of nice having this much light on the workbench. I don't want to get accustomed to that though. 'Tis the peril of old eyes, sir. But fortunately, I'm actually not that old and not quite there yet, that I need to blast quite this much light over top of my work area. So, part of the idea here is if I can get this out here, and you see, it's got a pulley switch. And I don't really need a pulley switch the way I'm going to implement this light. It's going to be connected to some other circuit or some other switch mechanism. So I'm feeling like I can just remove that straight out and use that as the new port in which the wire can access inside of this thing. And I can even add a longer wire like the one I was using on the green watt light. So that means we have to start taking this apart. And there are a bunch of tiny whittle screws. Where's our screwdriver? I have to take this apart anyway because of a modification I'd like to do to the lens. Right, the lens has this kind of paper over top of it, and it's more see-through than the paper that came in the other lights that I have. I didn't pull the protective covering off because I like the diffusion it adds. I'm gonna want this light to be heavily diffused, so chances are I'm gonna go and add a bunch of parchment paper to it like I did my other studio lights. I need to get the solo cup, sir. Aye, I can barely pick these things up. I've been using exclusively gross motor movements all summer long building that shed, and I'm finding my fingers are having troubles grabbing onto the little things. Alright, so that's gonna come off now. That switch is just like right there, sir, and there is a... Oh, that's a ground stud. Okay, that's nice. How do we take this apart, though? It doesn't look like we do. Or, yeah, there is stuff going on in there. But at the same time, this might have to get unsoldered to remove. And it looks like we might, or no, it's solid underneath there. So there's no point. This is the correct end though. This is the wire end. So it's a question of, if I start undoing all this hardware, will I be able to slide this stuff out? Okay, now we have the situation where this thing's jamming up on us. So we have to get that out. You know, I've never really known a surefire method to remove these things. Especially this one seems on there rather tight even. Lord knows I've removed a lot of these things in my time. So now that we can slack on this, it looks like we could probably just pull this out. Oh, we got some jam skis. Oh, it's jamming up on the ground lug here. Another thing that's gonna be fun to get back into place. All right. Okay. Okay. Oh. Looks like it has to come out with this thing, and this thing is being held in on the other end somehow. But I don't see it. I don't see anything in there that would be holding it in. Oh, I found it. There's like a kind of little stake right in there. You probably can't make out what's going on, but this channel, I'm just cutting it out, and then there we go. I'm sure I've voided the warranty on this thing, so... Oh, great. The wires go right into the ballast. That's going to make it easy for us to change this. And this is crimped together. This ballast looks like it just has a cover on it that kind of... Yep, there it is. So, there's the power supply. I will have to... Oh, wow. Look at that glob of solder just hanging off that. Slight quality control issue, sir. Hence why I do not believe these things to be worth the money that they ask for them, despite the fact that they're some pretty decent lights. Oh, pet capacitor. Oh, that's a good boy. That's a good boy. Okay, so, alright, it's marked line and neutral there, so that's not going to be a problem taking that apart. We got to get the old heat iron all warmed up, though. Nothing's happening if we don't bring the heat. Alright, do we have heat iron yet? Do we have heat iron? Do we have the ability to remove? Yes. Ow. Careful. Don't touch the hot thing. The ability to remove. Yes, sir. It is a very powerful ability. Then we're also going to disconnect the switch. Which, on that note, it means our line connection moves to where the switch connected, not where the line wire connected. Line wire. Alright, and unfortunate sacrifices are due as we just kind of clip off the ground wire. Just like that, sir. Now we can pull this out. Now I have half a mind to get some leads, solder them onto this guy so that I can actually mirette on the corrected piece of wire that I wish to add to this. Assuming there was enough room for mirettes in the end of this, but you know, if I think there are. So I'm gonna go in to find some little pieces of wire. Just stripping down the ground wire while I'm thinking of it. Getting it ready. All right, let's go find some wire leads. Okay. Perfect. And they're both about the same length too. You don't just want to use any wire, right? Because it's not just the wire itself you need to consider the rating of, it's the insulation. Some insulation is rated for high voltage, some is rated for low voltage. Technically, you could use a 14 gauge piece of speaker wire to wire something up in your house, but that insulation isn't going to be rated for that kind of voltage load. The wire will handle the current load, but it's the voltage load. Most wire rated for that kind of electrical purpose has a 300 volt rated insulation. Now this wire here does not tell me its voltage rating. No, it does, right there. Bam! 105C, 600 volt, 18 gauge. 105C, which means it will take the heat too. This is not only wire perfectly rated for my application, but it is overrated for my application, which means it's perfectly safe for me to use for this. No problems there. So we're gonna snip off a little nubbin. Yup, snip off another little nubbin. I wonder where I got this wire even. Huh. They look identical. They're identical lengths, identical ratings. Hell, even the font and the feel is the same, but one is copper and the other is tinned. Sure, why not? All right, let's see. I should clean my tip. Cleaning your tip is usually a good idea before insertion, am I right? And of course, I use the very barbaric way of cleaning my tip. Just a paper towel. Tin the ends, sir. Aha, the ends they tin will. Bon. Now we have to get them onto here. This thing's so long, it's like if I screw up, it's just gonna pull itself off the table. All right, so we have hole and hole. The line hole is pretty much straightforward. Huh, we have a subtle issue because we got two competing kinds of solders here. Oh, there it goes. We just had to overwhelm the Ross compliant solder. And now, down near the fuse is where the actual lines gotta go in. And now she's good. Now we have our line and neutral going to our PCB, so we can actually kind of rebutton this back up some way, somehow. This looks kind of pretty much omnidirectional, like there's no differentiation between this way and this way. So we just kind of like, just put it in the... Wait, is this the way it goes, or did it go the other way? Ah, yes, I recall it being this way. Doesn't seem like there's any rhyme or reason. There's nothing it really snaps into. It just sits in there, and then you put the cover on. Okay. So pull the wires back around here. Let's see if we can, you know, back in the carrier there. Wonder which way we should route these wires. Now we have to find it lining up with the little mount holes. I'm gonna need some kind of little push stick here. Okay, that's looks relatively... Oh, the wires are taking enough room on the side of it. This hole won't go to center. Well, that's nice. Let's pull it all back out again and reroute those wires. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit tight, bud. Just a little bit tight. Looks like the best method would be to route the wires underneath the box like that. Fortunately, they're 105C rated, so I don't think the LEDs will melt on them. I can't imagine the LEDs making the surface they're stuck to hit boiling point. That would be excessive. So, now do we have hole alignment? Yes, we do. We also have no screw hole threadings, which makes me wonder if I put that box in upside down. Not that I think it really matters. Let's get a couple of our happy screw friends and get them back into place. Oh, there we go. And judging by the lack of threading in those holes, yeah, I think I put the box in the way it didn't want to be. It's working though. Gaping hole here, no big deal because there's no exposed electrical contacts. This thing is in ways double insulated since that wire went right into the plastic box. I don't think they technically would have needed to ground it, but grounding is never a bad thing. It's always good to stay grounded, right? Yeah. Oh, high score. All right. I wanted to maximize my length and also maximize my modularity. So now I can just directly connect this to the wire that I want to use. However, in order to use this wire, we're going to be putting it through this hole. And we don't just want it loosey-goosey in this hole. We want some sort of choking method, some way to make it stay put and stay safe. This guy here is a bit too big for that hole, and I'd rather not make that hole bigger if I have to. What are the chances we'll find a grommet that fits? I am all out of grommets and I keep meaning to buy more. Let's go consult the hardware department. Wait, no, that wasn't a grommet. It was just an O-ring. Never mind. Yeah, man, I think I'm bingo grommets. At least the kind that I'm looking for. Here's a larger one. That's not going to fit nice. I might be bingo grommets, sir. I might have to go restock. They might sell them at the Canadian Tire up the street, and it is getting close to dinner time, so maybe I should just run out, pick up some grommets, grab dinner, come back later, re-adjourn. And sure enough, at the tires that are Canadian, Grommets du fromage. $5.99 plus tax is a bit much to pay for some Chinese-made pieces of rubber, but hey. Usually I don't like mixed bags like this, but if history holds true, I will eventually use all of these. Just sucks when you run out of your favorite sizes. I'm hoping, now one of these is gonna do it for me though. So let us find out, sir. My guess is I was going for like one of these guys right here. That looks about right. Oh, look how picturesque that is. This tiny donut all alone on the table. Well, I tried to find the piece that I have. And now, oh, I want to get this through that hole. Ha! Fits like a glove, isn't that great? Now how about my wire? Let's try put this wire through here. Oh, perfect. Yeah, that's great. It's not the most ideal strain relief in the world. And I wonder if something like that would be allowed to be official on a AC piece of equipment, but it's gonna do. Now, to add insult to injury, we just need to put a stop on it so that it doesn't slip out on us. So I'm trying to remember, what do I have available? Yes, our recently acquired pack of standard tie attaches. Where are these made? Some of these, they're UL listed, so they can't be too cheaply. Sometimes these guys, they don't hold up. They can break real easy. Memphis, Tennessee. UL listed positioning device. I like that term. Ooh, made in Thailand. Okay, well, anything's better than made in China in my books. All we gotta do is make it so that it cannot easily be pulled out, and we're good. There's maybe a little, how much room do we have in there? Enough. You know what? These twist ties, being UL listed, are gonna be approved for use in this application. And now it will prevent the wire from getting pulled out. So, good. Moving right along, I'm going to need 3 small orange morays, which I have right over here. Stealing them from another device. I am running low on these things, and I should probably invest in more. Let's see how well this is gonna work, shall we? At least this enclosure is grounded, so it's gonna make for a safe place to install some morays. There we go. So now we have a plug on the other end of this thing. If I plug it in, it should light right up. Yes, indeed it does. So moving right along, let us reattach the wire of ground, which is tricky because we got to get this through here and then get the loop on, and then we got to kind of fish a little nut up in there. Let us grab a little helping hand here, because I'm having to do crazy things with my fingers here. There we go. Just gonna hold it into place there while I attempt to get this nut into place, which I think I'm gonna have to use some needle nose for. Okay, now, got it. Boom. Now, let's see if we can safely pack all of this wire in there, in these morays. It's a little cramped. Fill tables might have something to say about this. The only conflict, this little fishnet's nicking out here. Yeah, that'll work. A little cramped, but it'll work. It's only that ground wire kind of sticking out awkward that's causing the controversy. So, moving right along, I need to deal with my diffusion, right? So I don't want this stock assembly here. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and pull the stuff off of it. And I'm gonna have to go and acquire some material to cover this with. Yes, yes. All right, our go-to, papier de parchment. Yes, remember people, if you're gonna do something like this, use parchment paper, not wax paper. Parchment paper isn't waxy, and it's also high temp rated. Now, the biggest conflict we have is parchment paper is rather wide and short, and this thing is long and skinny. So it means I'm gonna have to get into doing all sorts of cutting, really. I'm gonna have to cut strips off of this thing. Oh, can I do that nice slidey thing? Oh yeah. Let's try this. Oh, that's satisfying when it works. Oh, it's nowhere near straight though. I just kind of want to find a way to fold this over. I guess it'd be nice if it was kind of straight, you know? And I don't really want 2 layers of it, so maybe I do need to do a little bit more trimming. Do I have something resembling a writing device close by? Yes, I do. A pencil right here. I'm gonna try, you know, I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of winging it. I'm gonna trace this out. Now, in order for it to stay in place, we're gonna need a little bit of overlap, but like maybe not quite this much overlap. You know, I have this design in mind, but I'm feeling it's gonna be harder to implement than I'm thinking. But that's always what happens with my designs that I improvise as I go along. They take more, yeah, you know. Depending on the order that I release these videos, you've seen me do the shed already, and you've seen me screw that up a few times. I'm just gonna put this piece of tape here. This kind of tape makes a mess in the long run, but that's okay. Maybe let's try rolling out a bit of parchment and then putting it down and then tracing. Maybe waste a bit less that way, right? I wonder. This is a dull blade. I don't like doing this because I don't want to scratch up my table so much, but it looks like it's working. I guess parchment paper is easy to cut, eh? Let's see. Oh. Okay. It's like it perforated it mostly. Okay. By the looks of it, we're not going to quite get this done with 3 strips, but 3 and a change. So, hey, don't slip out on me. Okay, so at this point, as per the design I have in my head, I need to turn it over. You know, I don't want to scratch up this lens too much, but it's not really a problem here. Now that they've turned over, I'm going to tape this together. Oh wow, this stuff sucks so much it just came right off. Maybe there's not good adhesion to this paper. Okay, well I just needed to hold it in place until I seat it. You know what? I'm going to skip tracing for this one. I'm just going to hold it down. Let's try giving her a YOLO and see what happens, bud. Looks like we did good for ourselves. You've done well for yourself, son. Oh, wow. This tape is really not working for this application. That's wonderful. Sticking to the plastic well, though. What's it take to get that last little bit there? Okay, I could just use another scrap piece. Man, it would be really nice if this tape stuck to this stuff. Okay, so now getting this back into the light fixture is up for philosophical debate. Yeah, this is not gonna work, is it? The idea was that I wanted to fold over these edges and slide it in there. You know, this thing's friggin' wobbling out on me. See the effect I'm going for? Key term effect I'm going for. Hey, no jamming up. Okay, so the next piece, I guess, we're just gonna have to chase it in there, right? Before I put that crappy piece of tape on it, I think if I just kind of tuck it in underneath a little bit like that, let's see if we can keep this train going. Okay. Pretty good so far. See if we can get another piece on there now. Okay. Tucked in. Straighten that out. And it's tricky because the middle piece of paper wants to slide. Not with the lens. Yeah, there it goes. It's taking more concentration than I expected, sir. Shouldn't even bothered with the Scotch tape. It was good on the first end, but useless afterwards. Okay, we're almost there. Just a little bit more. Okay, so, you know, we got a little bit of, you know, it's mostly flat. It's kind of bowing out a little bit in some places, but there's not a whole heck of a lot of wrinkle. Now let's put the end cap on. Yeah. All right. One more screw and we're done. This thing is nicely modified, yes. All right, let's plug her in now. Ha, well, it is adding some margin of diffusion and definitely more than the other one. So that's okay. Question is, where are we gonna put it now? I kind of figured like right here to go even back more. Maybe I should up a camera here and see what's going on. So here would be directly over top, but back here would be actual back lighting, I think. Unless, you know, if I put it on a cross point here, then I'll be able to get a purchase. It'll slightly push up on some ceiling tiles, but it'll be able to get a purchase. So the old light that worked hung here. So I guess maybe I'll put it in between like here. And then hopefully that's not going to interfere with what I hang here when I hang that there. Oh, okay, let's turn that light off. I'm staring at the sun, bud. I'm staring at the sun. Mind you, that only adds like 2 little tiny spots by which it is holding, which might not be good enough. My usual fare, command strip tape. Part of this balanced breakfast. Will 2 of these little pieces hold this entire lamp assembly up? Well, if it doesn't work, we can always put it somewhere else. So, if you want command strips to work for you really well, you want to do a little bit of surface prep, which I do with alcohol without spraying it all over the camera. So we're going to put it right about here, right about here. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Right here. We'll give it a quick measure. We'll get the other one. 2 little command strip tapes. I would like more than this, but... Oh, hold on now. Hold on. We need to do surface prep to the lamp itself. Oh, I got it sprayed backwards. It's a relatively pure alcohol, so it's not offensive. Okay, here we go. Line it up and pinch it as hard as you can, and then count to 30. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now let's get the wire somewhere that makes sense, which is there's a wire hook up here. We should put a wire hanger up there. Good thing I got more of these. Getting a little bit with the surface prep. Because with this small amount of mounting solution, you know, we're going to want to make sure that we take the weight off of the light. That's good. We can tie up that more later. And sure enough, bud, sure enough. Over here, somewhere in the bowels, the back of my workbench desk, I have all sorts of plug-ins for power. I would rather not go that close to the microphone. So we're going to plug it in to the workbench power. And there we have it. New for 2020. More light. Yeah. And some wasted tape that has stuck the tape dispenser to the desk. And this made more of a mess than I expected. Oh well. That light's up there now. I should have appropriate backlight. The in behind of me should be a little bit more, or should I say less dynamic? Yeah. So, I don't know what else to tell you, man. I needed more light and now I got more light. And that's going to be a more permanent solution. Yeah. Me and my silly things.